We have 2 more minutes. I hope the YouTube thing will work. Okay, the session here is being recorded lah.
All right. You guys can hear me well, right?
Yeah. You all took off or working?
I'm literally on 2 screens right now. I'm working and looking at this.
Same lah, same.
I just changed something here. YouTube.
So you must give introduction like, hello guys, welcome to YouTube.
Subscribe.
Like, share and subscribe.
Yeah.
I want
the
to
end.
reach 1 million subscribers.
But I'm laughing after a very long time.
All this while?
Working
All this while.
24 hours, no timing. 1 a.m. they will text you.
1 a.m. ah.
Yeah.
That one not texting lah. Now disturbing already.
That's what Rindu lah.
Rindu asking for work. Please program this. Please make
Still
this
good one.
happen in the
At least
daytime.
somebody is remembering you.
That's why.
Okay, it's 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. Let's wait.
Should we start or
1
just
minute.
wait for a while?
Wait for a while lah. 2 minutes maybe.
Right.
Okay.
Check. Yeah.
All
Samia,
right.
your sister is here. Okay. Yeah, Amina can start.
All right. Hello, everyone. good afternoon. I hope all of you are doing great at home or wherever you are now. I suppose you guys are at home. It's MCO, and maybe some of you guys are another part of the world. So I am Amina, a lecturer from IMW, together with my partner here, Mr. Sugin, from School of Technology, and I'm from School of Communication. So today, welcome to the Chatbinar that organized by STEM crew of IUMW, International University of Malaya, Wales. So today, we have our four lovely speaker, three a beauty with brain, and one hero of IUMW. Yes. Okay. So our topic for today, our chat mina for today will be bridging the gap, students' perception versus intense reality. So right now we do have our current intern student here to share their experience. But before that, okay, so what is internship? What is the big deal of it? What is internship and what are they having now? The reality of the work life now. So an internship is a period of work experience offered by organization or any corporation out there for a limited period of time. All right. So this once confined to any graduates, internship is used for a wide range of placement in businesses, non-profit organizations, and also government agency. So the purpose, what is the purpose of this internship, guys? Right? So the purpose of this of an internship is to provide real world experience that enables you to put everything you learn into action. Okay, so an internship can help you gain skills, apply for future job and whatnot. So meaning to say that this is your preparation for your real world soon. Okay, so let me introduce you to our speakers here. So we have Miss Ghazi Samia Nikat Noor. Okay, she's from the program of computer science and she is now doing her internship in Texa Software Services in Berhad. It's an IT software company. Okay. Next, we have Miss Swari from the School of Psychology. Yeah, she is now doing her internship in Ernst Young Malaysia. Okay, a consulting a legal company. Next, we have our hero again here, Mr. Padiv Singh. He's from the computer science program and working an internship at the BEST Sendirian Berhad, which is a fleet management software company. Yeah, okay. And lastly, our another beauty with brain here is Miss Nurul Farzana binti Zulkifli Amin. She's from the program of accounting in IUMW, and she is now proudly to having internship in Malaysian Dutch Business Council. So I think only Miss Farzana finished now her internship, right? I think so, yes. Okay, so yes, guys, with that, we shall start our chat mina with Miss Samia.
Hello everyone, my name is Samia and I'm from Bachelor's of Computer Science Honours from IMW. Currently I'm doing my internship and I'm 1 month, I'm like 1 month left before my internship finishes and that's all.
Great. Can we have Miss Rajesh maybe?
Hi everyone. I'm Rajesh Swari. I'm a psychology student in IUMW and I'm currently doing my internship. I just completed my internship at Ernst Young Malaysia, where I was doing business consulting. And yes, looking forward to the session.
Great. Nice one. Okay, can we have Mr. Pardip, please? Would you like to introduce yourself a little bit? Yeah.
Hi, hello. My name is Padiv, and I'm a student of computer science in IUMW. And I'm currently in my week 13 of internship. I have another 3 more weeks until I finish my internship at best.
Nice. Okay. And lastly, Miss Farzana.
Alright, hi, I am Nur Farzana. I am a graduate from accounting, and I did my internship at Malaysian Dutch Business Council (MDBC) last year for 3 months. So yeah.
Wow, great. Okay, guys. So we have 4 lovely speakers here today, and we would like to ask them actually quite a lot of question. But I suppose we can have a very casual session together today. All right. Okay, so we do have first question here. Is can and Miss Anna explain to us about your job searching effort for your internship? How did you get your place there in for your internship place? Yeah.
Okay. Honestly, it's a very funny. I would say like it was very simple. I wouldn't say because now people say like job searching or internship placement searching is difficult and it's hard to secure a placement. But as for me, last year in June,
Yeah.
it was a short semester period. So I didn't intend on taking up an internship placement then. So, but then when I saw the courses that were being offered, then I didn't have the courses that I was supposed to take. So I decided why not just apply, see if I get in. Thankfully, I got with the help of Miss LinkedIn. Honestly, it was so sekejap. It was so simple. I was just like I applied to a couple of big companies, but I was just trying my luck. I know that it's impossible to get, so I posted on LinkedIn. I was like, okay, so this is my period. I'm looking for an internship placement, and yeah, fortunately for me, Miss Layton reached out to me via DM, and she said that there's an opening at Malaysian Dutch Business Council. So I sent my resume,
Wow.
and in 2 days, I got the placement, and I started working on Monday, the next Monday. It was
Wow,
very, very
just in 2 days.
yes, Alhamdulillah, thankfully.
That's a so-called instant internship.
I would say, yeah. I mean, I think it's I was lucky then lah. It's not
Meaning,
it's not that easy.
yeah. So meaning that you started with having a LinkedIn profile.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. All
I
right.
think it's very helpful these days.
Yeah, if I may
Yeah, it
add
is
to
very-
Anna's point just a little bit. Yeah, because Anna mentioned the
Yeah.
importance of LinkedIn, right? Yeah, and for me as well, I managed to use the same point, which is also LinkedIn kind of helped me get my internship as well. Yeah, it just goes to show how important LinkedIn is. So basically, for just to share a little on my experience applying, right? Because I applied to EY, which probably gets a lot of applications a day. I mean, most likely they get a lot of applications a day, right? So instead of just applying through the system and letting my application go in and just let it process, I also at the same time DM'd their recruitment person on LinkedIn just to have a conversation with that person, so the person kind of remembers your name or something, So when the application gets in, they remember, oh, this is the girl that DM me on LinkedIn. I just went LinkedIn, I just said hi, hello. Yeah, I'm looking to apply for
Just
this
like
position,
info. Yeah.
should I just apply through the website? Just like, yeah, just apply through the website. Okay, thank you. Just a small conversation. So it's just an additional effort to your application, which like just leverage it on Anna's point, which is LinkedIn helps actually,
Yeah. To start to networking your portfolio. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, maybe I can ask the second question. My question goes to Rajesh again and also Padiv. How was the interview and what kind of question they asked you during the interview and what kind of skills they were looking at? This will be very helpful when it comes to internship student to prepare themselves. Huh? Maybe we start with Rajesh first.
Okay, so I had for application for Ernst & Young, there were two stages, which is the first stage is the online assessment, and the second stage is a phone interview, right? So the online assessment is basically for them to eliminate you based on like AI or machine learning, because they don't require any engagement with you, right? It's just basic, not to say basic, but it's like mathematical, geometrical, alphabetical. Is this kind of IQ questions kind of thing. Yeah, so it's like based on time based kind of thing. So like what is 5 minus 3 plus 5 plus something like that, and how fast you can answer it, those kind of questions. Yeah, and then you're timed based on like the online machine assessment, I think. So once you get through that phase, you'll be contacted via a phone interview, which it's not pre-scheduled, so they just randomly call you in the morning, and if you're asleep, you miss the call, then you miss the call, that kind of thing. So in the phone interview, then they asked questions on, I think typically interviews, right, it's more of like, what can you offer us, number one, and why do you want this role, and why do you want this company, like why come to our company, like 3 parts. Generally it's 3 parts. So I think this is for anyone who's listening, right? You can do it in advance. Basically in advance is meaning that before you even send your application, read through the company and see a few words, for example, their culture, or maybe a few words that they describe, we are a passionate company, or we are a hardworking company, or we're a technology driven company. So all these words, keep it highlighted with you. Yeah. So when they call you, you can say all the just use these words and say, you're a company that's very technology driven, and being someone who's interested in technology, so it's these keywords that are very important, I think, during your interview, because it shows them that you research about the company, you know what you're applying for. You can't just say, oh, I want to apply to your company because it's a nice company. Like, you can't just end it there, right? Yeah. So find their unique points, and I think that will help. And also to pre-think about like why you want this role, why you want this company, and what can you offer to them. Then it'll be easy to answer interview questions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
do
about Padiv?
research.
Yeah.
Yeah, so mine, when I was shortlisted, the first thing they told me that I have to sit for an assessment. So basically, there were 2 tests. One was an English test, basic English, to see how fluent and how proficient you are in your English vocabulary. And also, the second part was more towards technology side of questions. For example, MySQL. So after I completed both of the assessment in under 1 hour, then I had an online interview with my supervisor. So basically, the question asked was not to say very in depth of technology, but basically getting to know who you are as a person and what can you deliver to the company. So questions like, okay, have you done this before? Have you done this type of program before? And all the simple questions that they want to get to know you more better and see what your skills are. So I think, yeah. So before you go to an interview, prepare yourself. What are your skills? Like, write down in a paper and present to them. In that way, they'll have confidence in you that, yeah, you can do the job. You know what you are talking about. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, and Rajesh and Padiv has mentioned a very good 2 points. Rajesh mentioned that you need to know the company's background before you join, because they would like to know how much you are interested with the company. Okay, that's a very good point. And also, Padiv mentioned that you need to know about what is your strength. Okay, once you know what's your strength, then you can sell how capable you are, how you can contribute to the company. Okay, that's a very good point that okay. Now we can go to the next question, and next question also to Rajesh and also Samia. How was your experience on the first week of internship? I know first week the time where students really struggle because they already been in the comfort zone, so-called comfort zone, because they know the assignment, group project, they can do anytime, right? So they can wake up anytime. So now they need to go with something like a machine world, or you need to wake up at 7, get ready, and go to the office like 8 o'clock, and then you only have like a gap between like a lunch hour. Then you need to continue the work. Even you want to look at back or turn around, also like somebody is monitoring you. Okay, so this kind of things is all sudden happen in the very first week, and I had also a few students came and explained their frustration on the first week, and they almost want to quit. Okay, so I want to know what kind of experience you had during your first week of your industrial training.
The most nervous first week. Yeah.
Yeah, can we have Samia first, then continue by Rajesh?
Okay, so my first week started off with going to a client's place. So I was not ready for it at all. It was out of nowhere. One day before the internship starting, like on Sunday night, the HR calls me and he goes, okay, tomorrow you have to go to this client's place, and then this is what you have to do. You're gonna meet the project manager there, and you have to get the requirements, what they want, and all this. So I was like, okay, this, and
First
the next
day.
morning I go to the place. Yeah, like so stressed, right? You don't know how to get requirements. We have never done that. We know system requirement analysis and all, but we have never done it with the actual client. So I go to that place, and everyone is in the meeting room, and everyone is talking. Okay, this is what we need. This is what's not working in the current system. You need to add this. You need to add that. So I was stressing, but thank God my colleagues and people who were senior than me, they were very nice. They were actually like, okay, you know what, I'll help you, be calm, this is what you have to do. They actually showed me everything, but yeah, it was kind of very nerve-wracking at first, but I think with time it gets easier. That
Okay.
was my
First week dealing with the clients, huh?
First day.
first
First
day.
day, yeah. How about Rajesh?
Okay, for me, okay, so because I think, I was working in consulting, which is a client-facing industry. So typically, your working hours is extended. So, you would assume it's 9 to 5. But when I first entered my first day, my first thing my supervisor asked me was that, do you want an intern experience or do you want an associate experience, right? So I said associate. I want like a real experience because I really wanted to know, is this a job that I want to do for the rest of my future years, so I don't want like an easy intern experience. I want like a real experience. And then they said, okay, the working hours and etc. will follow accordingly, like according to a real work experience. So on my first week, I started work at 9 a.m. and I end work at 1 a.m. or like 2 a.m. on a daily basis. Yeah, Monday to Friday. So around there, around 1 a.m., sometimes it's 11 p.m., around there. So for me, I almost like, I don't know, I think like the first week almost drove me insane, honestly. Like, I think people find this
It
surprising
was
because they're like, oh,
shock for
you're
you.
always busy. Yeah, you know what to do. You're always busy. You're always doing this, that, that. But it's different because I think when you're a student, you have flexibility in your time and your schedule. You own your time. You're like, okay, morning I want to sleep a little later. Then I push this to afternoon. I push this to night. I do it at midnight, 4 a.m., 3 a.m. Just that you just make your own schedule. But when you work, you have no choice but to wake up every morning, and you
Yes.
have to wake up, and you can't like snooze your alarm, right? That's not like your boss is gonna ask where you are. And then you have to sit on your laptop. And you cannot do anything else. You cannot scroll Instagram and waste time because they always want work to be sent in, to be updated, meetings and etc. You cannot like churi like half an hour of Netflix, and you can't do anything. And like sometimes we even rush, like lunch break is like rushed, like half an hour, 45 minutes. It's not even like 1 hour because urgent meetings and etc. So for me, the first week was not the first week. I think the first 2 3 weeks was really difficult. Like I was like, oh my god, what am I doing? Like my mental health, like
How
just
to
very
adapt with
messy.
all this.
Yeah, I almost wanted to. Yeah, I almost felt like I was going to break down and cry because it's like non-stop every day. And then you know how when I was a student, I never understood when working people say Monday blues. I never understood that. I was like, it's just another Monday. We're students, so we don't like Monday. What's the difference? But when you work, you appreciate the weekend so much that Monday is like, oh no, it's Monday. Yeah, I
It's like
think
everyday blues.
Yeah, I can recall
yeah.
that years back when I did my internship, years back. lah. And mine, the so-called headache started on the second week because first week they want to see how you are, what you can do. Because they say they didn't really give any work. They just want to you chill because they are waiting. Next week you're going to start with something. Then they started, to stay back for 2 days every week until you finish your internship. Almost up to 10 o'clock because I need to travel. And I was so shocked. I cannot handle this. So I was writing an email to my supervisor in university, and also ICC, the supervisor in the company, say I cannot really attend until 10 o'clock. You know what happened? That issue was brought to their meeting, and I thought, what? Ayo, these kind of students are. That's why I cannot really handle this kind of. Because there is we thought like 6 o'clock work finish, we can go and enjoy, right? But then only even the supervisor didn't really told me this. It was informed by another colleague that you need to be very careful. So after that, I was just okay, now mind, because I
Just
really worried about
follow.
my
Yeah.
mark. Yeah, so that's a very good lesson I got. So after that, I still need to work until 10, 11.
Then you
Also,
just
if I
have
may
to
add
adapt
like
to
a
the
really
situation.
Yeah, if I may add like a really short point, I think like now working from home makes it even more difficult because you're
Yes.
facing just your laptop in your room with no social life, no social circle, no anything, especially if you work really late. So for me, the first 2 3 weeks, I was like losing my friends. I think Anna and all, like I wasn't talking to people because you just like, what am I doing? Work is like so messy, you can't even control yourself. But in March onwards, when you have to start like attempting to, okay, can we like talk to your friends, go out on the weekends, go out for
Yeah.
lunch, go out for dinner, like get a social
It
life,
have to
like
be
aside from
balanced.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you feel more like balanced. If you just work with your laptop in your room, it's very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't really balance on, you need to adapt this culture from the first month itself. Also, I think you'll be going to the stage which is depression because you don't know how to really transfer whatever stress you are having in the internship.
Mm-mm.
Because even though it's not really tough as what a normal job, but you're in the transition, so you need to be very careful on that. Also, because I almost had like a fall sick. It happened when I was doing my internship. So I hope the student will not be having, should know how to handle. Okay, and then we pass the second question to
Yeah.
Amina. Yeah,
Yeah, true. Mr. Sugin, the transition, how are you gonna
yeah,
adapt that? Yeah, yourself. I mean, your fine is your mentally and your physical aspect as well. How are you gonna adapt with the 9 to 5 work life? And nowadays it's not like 9 to 5 anymore. It's more than that. And we are
yeah.
at home and it's just a screen on us. So it is yes important again to make sure your work life balance. Yep.
Now it's a 9 to 9. One
Right.
circle.
It's kind of true, but yes, we're the one that have to control ourselves and manage. Time management is really important, and you need time to rest as well. Okay, so let's continue to the next question. Okay, so what kind of tasks given to you, and what are the new technologies or skills you learn during your internship? Maybe all of you can answer this. Each and every company that you're working now.
We start with maybe Anna first.
Yeah,
Okay.
technologies or skill. Yeah.
Okay. So the first question was what kind of tasks we're given, right?
Yes.
During I think the first 2 weeks, because MDBC is a small company. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a company; it's a small organization. So there were only like 8 core employees, including myself at that moment. So when I attended the first 2 weeks, because my internship was entirely physical, my supervisor wasn't in. So I only communicated with her online. Like she only check in with me after lunch hour, and then or before I go back before 5:30. So I was just alone at the office because the other bosses were like, they had their own things to do. So during the first 2 weeks, I really didn't have anything to do, and suddenly my boss just said, okay, I need you to come up with a few SOPs. I was kind of clueless. Okay, what kind of SOPs? Because although I'm an accounting student at that time, but I did my internship as an events and membership intern. It's very far, very different, but because event is something I'm very, very interested in and passionate about, so that's why I took up the internship. The tasks that were given to me during the first 2 weeks, it was very broad, and I feel like I wasn't actually um, doing all my best, and I feel like I'm limiting my potential that I have. So, and then I voiced it out to my supervisor, and I said that, you know what, if there's anything I can help, and I wish to do more than just assisting in these things, or like small stuff. So after I said that, every event that came like after, she said, okay, you handle this one. The first time I was just like, okay, how do I do it? So but I like it. I liked it so much because it was like such an amazing challenge that I took up. So I think during my internship I did about almost or more than 10 events, all virtual. And the best one I would say is the Virtual Connects Fair. I did it entirely. I would say that I sublet the event. It was just amazing. And like I've mentioned it's like an entire new world of event management that I never even knew existed.
Wow. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
virtual
and
and it's the new
yeah,
platforms and all.
it's like literally because 2020 was the year that like the pandemic just hit us. So everything was like people were just transitioning to the digital world. So like at that time it was June. Yeah, I never even knew like things that you could do in a physical event, you could actually implement it in virtual event. It was so interesting. It really opened my eyes. Like you can do so much remotely. And yeah, the new technologies is that you could do an exhibition online. It's just simply crazy to me at that point. But now, yeah, there's many companies that are doing online exhibitions now. But at that point, I was just like, wow, you can do this, and like the skills. I think because during my internship, they gave me tasks like, okay, you have to call this person, these people, you have to have meetings with them, and these are all big people of big companies, like the MDs and directors.
Yeah.
Most engineers, I had never liaised or engaged with just another staff. It's always like the bosses. So I feel like the skill that I actually learned
It's a
from my
good opportunity. Yeah.
yes, and I gained confidence, and I feel like I talk better, like cause you know I had to like not call but like have meetings
Deal with
with people.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. So from not being confident enough with myself, I think at the end of the internship, I find that yeah, it's just another boss that I have to talk to. But yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, so good. Actually, at least you can, like talk to your HODs or to your bosses that, yes, I think I need more than this. I know that I
Yeah.
have more in me that I can deliver, right?
Yes.
I really want to learn something new, not just simply do small things in the company. Yeah. Good that you
Exactly.
asked your bosses and all, and
Yeah.
then you did learn a lot from there, especially on
Yeah.
the communication skill.
Yeah, and I'm so thankful that they gave me they put trust and given me the
Yeah,
opportunity
the
to do it.
opportunity.
Yeah,
Great. It's
yeah.
very good, Anna. Okay. Maybe Miss Samia, you wanna share with us tasks
Sure.
given and the technologies that you're using since you're from IT, I think. Yeah.
Yes. So the first thing was obviously I went to the client space, right? So they already had this software developed for this client, which
Yeah.
was developed on .NET. It, it was a very new thing. I never learned what .NET was in uni. I used it for my final year project, but it was not in depth. Like it was just the basics of it. So then it was like, okay, you need to manage this. You need to take care of the system. Anything they want updates, you have to update it. So I know nothing about APIs. I knew the theory of it, but I never worked on it. So it was a new thing like API. Okay, how do you make APIs? So I had training sessions with all these developers who were like seniors. They're like, okay, you need to learn how APIs are made. You need to know how to do data migration and all those things. So yeah, so it went on for like a month updating and managing that system. Then after that, my boss, the CEO, comes and he asks, will you be interested in CRM, customer relationship
Yeah.
management? And I go, I don't mind learning as long as I'm
Yes.
connected to my core, which is programming. I'm okay doing other stuff. And he goes, okay, fine. So CRM. So we work with Microsoft Dynamics as well, which is a customer relationship management thing, or like business central, whichever you call it. So they manage any businesses, their data and all those stuff. So like, okay, so you have to learn another new programming language, which is L language. I was like, okay, another language. So I
A
think during
language in the
yeah,
CRM
during
systems.
during my internship I worked with customer relationship management, and then .NET, which is C# programming, and then I also did Ionic Angular, which is like an Angular programming language that Ionic framework uses to make apps, mobile apps. So that was a new thing. So yeah, I think it has been it has been a roller coaster, but I have been learning a lot of things
Learn
that
a
I have
lot. Yeah.
thought that I would learn. Because in uni, what happens is, yeah, we have made apps, but we have never worked with REST APIs, REST data, which we have to call and stuff. So yeah, it's very nerve wracking at first, but it gets easier.
It gets easier when you actually start to doing it, to start to
Yeah,
experiment on the system and actually apply on it. Yeah. So with this internship, actually, you are learning a lot. I mean, you you learn more what's the latest out there, the latest technology out there. Yeah, yes, in university you learn a lot as well. You learn all these latest IT apps, how to develop apps and whatnot. But when you were in the real world, because technology is always evolve, right? So yeah, a good experience from Samia.
And if
It's
I
very,
may
very good.
add point, if I may add
Yeah.
one more point, which
Yes.
is okay, so when you're a computer science student, people expect us to be always in front of our laptops, not communicating with human beings at all. I mean, even I think to one extent I was like that when I was in uni until like all of this I got very active. But when I started working, especially because of customer relationship management, I think I became very good communicating. I'm not saying I'm very good, but like it's improving
Yeah.
on step by
It
step.
push you to actually deal with
No
the
doubt that
clients.
Samia is a good communicator.
You can see clearly.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
maybe thank you, Samia. Maybe Miss Rajesh, you want to share something with us? What task
All
have
right.
you got? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I was a business consulting intern, which is a bit away from my degree in psychology. But I think it goes to show that, nowadays when people recruit also for technical skills like, programming, IT, or like maybe, specifically accounting and stuff like that, then they look for like your specific degree because you need to have the basic background knowledge. But there are more jobs now that are very tangible, like, for example, business consulting, right? It's more of problem solving, critical thinking as compared to what your degree can take with you. But it also goes to show that, a degree is important because you learn transferable skills along the way. The writing that you do in your research, even though it's psychology research
Yeah.
or, the reading that you do or, all of it that you do, it's still transferable to a different subject matter. Right? For me, what I was struggling with was that I lack business knowledge. Like I have it because I've done business competitions, etc. But I don't have it enough. I don't have digital tech stuff like much. I don't have that knowledge much. So when I got on board, at the same time, my boss was like, since you don't have business knowledge, so I'm expecting you to start learn it, pick it up while you're in your internship. So besides working extra hours to do like online courses, try and read up and see if I can understand this basic accounting, what's inventory, what does that mean, what's all this kind of stuff, the terms and etc. And also one more thing was I think one of the most like tech digital thing that I did was that I learned how to use the Power BI software. So it's for data visualization basically. So how you can like transform like tons and tons of data sets in Excel to like when you automate it into Power BI, it's like automated visualization. So you change one number on Excel, you automatically get the graphs, etc. updated. Like so the whole software for me to learn, like basically it was just by YouTube. They just gave it to me, they like, figure it out and give us the dashboard. And then I was like, okay, take a few days to, learn it up. But I think like it just goes to show that you don't need to have the background. I think for these kind of
Yeah.
things, as long as you're willing to put in the time to learn, I think a lot of people can pick up as well. Yeah, and I think going forward in the digital world, they're looking for that skills. So when your internship gives you this experience, then when I apply for a job, later I can say, oh, I have experience in this area.
Experience on that
Yeah,
particular
so for
apps.
those
Yeah.
of you, so for those of you that are not taking, any digital or tech degrees, but if you're interning and they give you the opportunity to, what do you want to try to work on this program, or do you want to try to work on Illustrator, or like this kind of
Yeah.
tech skills? Always say yes because you can always use that experience in your future jobs and etc. Yeah.
Yeah, it's seriously,
Yeah.
it's a very good point. Even students are sometimes they feel like I'm belong to this program. I want to only learn this related to this program. So when they go out to the industry, right, they are looking for more than what you learn from university. So do not limit yourself. 3 years study at university, you need to explore only. Let's say you're learning computer science, only need to learn computer science, or your psychology only psychology, or business only business. Try to explore more because you never know where you are going to lead in the future, where which industry you're going to be working with. So when you have a lot of skills and this you can add in your resume, always opportunity is there. So it's up to whether your interest and where you're passionate about. Okay, so you can always explore. So my suggestion, not advice, my suggestion to all the undergraduate students: do not limit, try to explore more, try to learn more. If you have any other students from other faculty, try to learn. If let's say you are a business school student, I found met a few students really interested in when it comes to mobile app developments, right? They try to mingle with
Yeah.
the computer science students, they can get some kind of skills. Yeah. So we have who's the? I think we have one more speaker, right?
Yeah,
Only
our
two.
hero.
Yeah, our hero of.
Yeah, so my working experience is that for my job scope, the software is already done. I'm doing the most important task, testing. So
Testing.
basically, uh, I have to test
Testing
the
your patience.
no lah, but once the software has been completely made, so it will go through a testing process. So my job is I have to test every single button, field, like the text
The
field, and every
features.
single
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, every single thing, the features. So there are like multiple steps to go by. So like for example, I only give access to read. So I'm only able to read that particular text box. I can't edit or delete. So this goes on for like 100 plus modules. So like every time we test, and also not only, and we also testing on multiple database. So it's not only one database, it's like 5 6 database as one at once. So it's quite a fun experience actually when you get to test the right things, and like it's no
And
error,
it's
and sometimes
working.
when you find error you like be very excited, like yes, my first error. Yes. So it's kind of fun, but at the same time it can be stressful if the error can't be solved. But overall it's like a nice experience. Like in university we don't learn like very in-depth testing. It's just like, we craft a document sheet like, okay, I tested on this, okay, this passed. But when it comes to working environment, we need to do like more detailed testings compared to what
Yeah.
we learn in university. So it's been a great experience.
Okay, I think all responded for this question, right? So let me move to the second, the next question. This question I love to ask Anna and Padiv. How was your supervisor make sure that you meet their expectation? What kind of measurement benchmark they do to make sure that you can deliver their task? We
Um,
start with Padiv. Yeah.
yeah, so for mine, how my supervisor check my progress is like every day at 5:30 we sit down as a group through online, and we discuss what we did for the day. So we have to update our supervisors and all the team members like what we did for that particular day, like what we tested on, what error did we find, how did we solve a particular problem. So yeah, that's how we update each other every day. So what are the tasks we have completed.
Okay. How about Anna?
Okay. For me, since I mentioned that the organization is small, my relationship with my supervisor is more of like a colleague thing. So whatever she does, I'm doing as well. I did it as well. So we kind of worked on the same thing. So how she measure my, like, whatever she gives to me, she gave me, I think it's more of a, okay, you do this today and then you send it by the end of the day or like before lunch hour. But I would also like to add that from my internship experience, I was exposed to a number of like platforms, like ClickUp, like project management platforms like ClickUp, like Slack, and um, MDBC really fully utilizes Google Calendar, which I find
Mm.
super duper useful. That up until today, even if
Yeah.
it's just for my personal use or my work, I use Google Calendar because I don't know, it makes me more organized. I know that, some people prefers to like write it down in your diary or whatnot. But like since now I think most things are online, so I feel like it's just like a click away. You just open your Google and you see whatever you have. But we also have I think this is typical weekly meeting. So we have it every Friday at 9 a.m. To check on everyone's progress, what you're doing, what you've been doing for the past week, what you will be doing for the next week. And we also, since we had Dutch interns, so we had like an everyday check-in with the Dutch interns at 3 p.m. So it's 9 a.m. in the Netherlands.
Mm.
It was just so fun to see. And yeah, even though I was just with them for like a few weeks, I think 2 or 3 weeks, but it was just nice to know that, with technology, you can work remotely. They're in the Netherlands, we're in Malaysia, but we work on the same thing. So
Actually, you need to be. I think last few times I mentioned that we should thank MCO or COVID because it give us another opportunity, next opportunity to venture in to
Yeah.
see how
Yeah.
we can. Now we no need to travel to overseas to work. At least you can still mingle with others and work. That's a very good. I can say a platform for students.
Yeah. Eventually, Miss Anna is working in Netherlands. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually.
One day.
Anyone
Yes,
else want
Mrs.
to
Again.
top up? No. Okay. Next will be a quite interesting question. It's about training. When it comes to training, students don't really admire when they hear this word training. So when we mention the class next week you're having a training, the first word will come from themselves is okay, bye. Okay. They don't really enjoy when it comes to training because they feel like okay, I will be like nothing to do. I just listen. Okay, they don't really admire. But it's actually training as a student and training as an employee is totally different because when you are attending a training in as a student, sometimes you will use it. Sometimes mostly it's about knowledge. But when it comes to your working in a company, you need to apply whatever you learn. You cannot really run away from that. Okay, so I want to ask each of you, what kind of training provided to you, and how much importance given when it comes to training for that, especially for interns. We can start with maybe Samia first.
Like I said, I had to work on .NET. So yeah, they gave me the training of .NET, how to make APIs, how to update the system and all. But on more on depth, they did provide me a training on Business Central, Microsoft Business Central, which focused on L programming. So yeah, it was kind of, I won't say it was very hard or they were rushing it, like you have to learn it or something like that. They gave me my time, but yeah, they did provide me efficient amount of training for me to be able to work on the things that I'm working on right now.
How about Rajesh?
Okay, so for me, the trainings the trainings that were given to me were like onboarding sessions. So like before I even start working, the first 2-3 days were like non-stop, induction sessions of the company and etc. But more work-based training was I think because EY they use this online learning platform. So basically, you are assigned modules that you have to complete, like training modules. So it's like kind of like you have to read and answer questions to pass the next stage, read, answer questions, pass the next stage kind of thing. A few things like confidentiality or like learning how to use yada yada yada. So these things were like outside of work, right? And what I learned was that, I mean, what's one takeaway was that I think when you're a student, you can afford to not focus in your training. You can afford to, look down, use your phone a bit when it gets a bit boring, or like, off your camera, go take water, something like that. Because, you're just like, listen, need to use, don't need to use, kind of thing. But in work, you miss a little bit, no one's going to come and tell you, like, what it is. So you might mess up the job or the task that you're doing, you might mess it up. And then you have a big question mark from your boss, supervisor. This was taught to you already. Why is it not done? So I think like that was one thing that I learned, which is like I have a very short span of focusing on one thing. So like I think in internship we have no choice but to just sit down and listen to every word and like focus. Yeah, that's one thing that I can say.
Actually, like as a student, you can turn off your webcam for entire training. But for so working in a company, you cannot. Okay, so that's the difference when it comes to student and also intern or employee. Okay, go with Padiv.
So the experience. So I
So
mean,
stressed.
like my experience, the first week was pretty simple. They asked me to go through the documents and stuff, read on like how to test on what they're doing there and stuff. So basically, gaining knowledge from there and like asking my fellow team members, like, okay, like for this, how do you guys? Can you guys explain me more thoroughly? So my one advice to all of you all, it will be like if you go for internship, never be afraid to ask your team members because they will help you along the way.
So
Don't.
it was like a kind of a mentor-mentee session, right?
Yeah, mentor-mentee. Yes, exactly.
You were assigned by a few colleagues, senior colleagues, to support if you have any questions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Apart from that, do they give like any training, or they ask you to, okay, this is the link for you to go and learn?
oh no no no. They will teach step by step on how you do. So for the first week, okay, if you're doing a new test, they will like video call you and tell you, okay, now this is how you're gonna test. So you make sure this the right things. Then okay, you can continue. So they will help along the way. Like okay, they'll show you the way and stuff. So it's been helpful that way.
Okay. How about Anna?
I think for me, there was no literal training that was provided. So I think I'm just gonna add to what Rajesh has said. Like, you always have to focus and like be alert of what your supervisor or bosses tell you, because like as for me, what I call as an indirect training was that they always send me to attend events by myself. So okay, you learn and you pitch it to us. So we want to know the takeaways from each event, and we want to see what you feel like is the best idea for our event. So I feel like I wouldn't say there was any literal training that was given, but I would consider all the events that I attended by myself, things like that, as an indirect training for myself to implement to all the work that I will be given then. So I feel like an advice like to future interns is yes, like Pardip said, to always ask around, like ask for help, ask for ask them to teach you how to do things and all that. But at the same time, be as independent as you can.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I feel like because my internship, I would say that I was independent. Yeah.
All right. All
Okay,
right.
next.
Cool. Guys, yeah, just now I thought I wanted to share like the small thing, like what Miss Fazana told us, like the small thing that we don't want to do, in a company, and we thought of doing bigger things, obviously. So here, Mr. Shawwal, our lecturer, Mr. Shawwal share his experience actually. First day internship, I thought I just need to do simple tasks like fetch coffee. But no, I had to interview this international DJ for his first day of internship. So yeah, it's similar with Samia, I think. Had a very blast first day meeting a client. So some of the sharing from Mr. Shawwal. Okay, so guys, now is the creepy part. Okay, I want to ask you guys, what was your greatest fear and confidence while in internship for now? Yeah, maybe Padip, Samia, and Anna can share with us. Padip, maybe any greatest fear so far?
Yeah, I think we all have some fear when stepping into internship world.
Okay, don't cry,
My,
don't start.
I, I think my biggest fear was like screwing up things that they give me. Yeah, I might screw up something and I might get like, oh shit, maybe they're gonna terminate my internship in that week itself. But yeah, that was my biggest fear, like doing something wrong or like unintentionally doing something wrong that might lead like the company facing some loss. So I don't want that to happen. But at the end
Yeah.
of the day, the only way to overcome this fear is to ask. Always ask.
Mm. Mm-mm.
Never like be like, it's okay,
Don't
lah,
be too
just do it.
shy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's okay, lah, I'll do how I want, lah. But at the end of the day, it's not about you. It's about the company you're working for. So you
Mm-mm.
must do your work like do it diligently and like respect that they're giving you that position to work for. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, never keep it yourself, even though you're doing something wrong, right? You never know
Mm-mm.
how dramatic the scene will be after they caught you. Okay, so better you go and tell. Okay, I did this mistake. Okay, so at least they know that. Okay.
Yeah, normally they won't make fun of you or anything. They definitely gonna guide you. Yeah.
Because they went through the same thing when they were They should understand
Yeah.
lah. But what happened was, after a few years, they become senior. They cannot really tolerate what they were before. That's why when they see internship student, they feel like okay. But when they recall, oh, I was like this before. Okay, that's very normal. Okay. Yeah.
Maybe
Next.
Rajesh, want to share your greatest fear?
Okay, my greatest fear was that I think being in an environment where I had no background in, like I can't even use my psychology degree to back me up. It's just like being thrown into a new environment and working with colleagues or like seniors or like teams that are rushing for deadlines and who are like obviously more experienced, more qualified, and not having like a fellow intern with me, to like complain, to like say like, oh, we're struggling, like like to have a support system. So like being alone in the department where everyone is fast paced, very experienced. And when they give you a task, I think the first few weeks I was a bit like I think I was very not confident with myself because I was just like, I don't know anything about this. I can do it, but is this good enough? Like, or is this what they want? Or it's just like their quality work, or like sometimes you question yourself and you're like, am I good enough? That kind of thing. But I think that was the fear that I had. I think similar to Padiv, like your work quality, right? Is it
Work
good enough,
quality,
or are they
yeah.
going to scold you? Yeah, are they going to scold you because
Is it
of it?
enough? Is it good enough? You
Yeah,
always
yeah.
have that
That's a
fear.
big fear I had. Yeah, that's a big fear I had also. I think also it's also stemmed by the fear of like I think around me a lot of people were like, let's just say from more prestigious universities lah. Let's just put it that way, like all this, very smart economics graduate from here lah, London lah, whatever. And then it's like I'm just like psychology graduate. But I think that just goes to show that, our university is no less. I mean, people always think like, oh, we're a local university, we're not like UK, London, whatever. But I think it just goes to show that our university is no less. And we still have students that can do well wherever they go, right? So do not use that as a factor to make you unconfident. Because when at the end of my internship, when I gave my boss my IMW evaluation form, the internship evaluation form to like put his remarks, there's one part that says, what do you want to advise your intern? Like, what do you have to improve for the future work? If you just put there, like, be more confident, full stop, Like, because sometimes you are capable of a lot of things, but because you're not confident, you a bit shy away from things like is this correct? Is not correct? But I think it's important to be confident with yourself and just go with it. Like it's something that I learned the hard way. Yeah, because I was originally actually really unconfident. Yeah, with myself. Yeah.
Good.
Maybe Samia
Yeah, I
wants
think
to.
most of the students are really worried when it comes to the evaluation. Students are really worried when it comes to evaluation. After even I had the worry because I wrote an email to my supervisor, right, about complaining that they're working more hours. Even before the internship finished, I go and meet the company supervisor. I told her, my CGPA is this level. If I manage to score A only, I can get this. I told her that I need to get A. She was smiling, okay, fine. So I was like, but at that time I did a very wrong calculation. So I thought I need to get an A in the internship, then only I can increase my CGPA. But you know what happened? She purposely gave me a B plus. So because that, but thank God, because I did some mistake in calculation, I still can score what I want. If I told her I need to get minimum B plus, I think I won't get. So evaluation part is very very critical. So you need to keep. I just share my experience. So you need to be very careful. You need to think on your level on what they can think when you see something. You need to be very careful like this. Okay, yeah, Samia.
I think my biggest fear was very similar to Padiv's, like messing something up. And when I have to deploy something to the server, the client server or the company server, is that you have to copy paste certain codes or certain files into them, right? So I was like, oh my god, I need to keep backups. So every time I was doing it, I had like backups. So like I had like 10 files of backups. Just because I don't want to ruin anything. And yeah, and then the biggest key to getting everything done is ask everyone. That helps. That's one thing I would say. Yeah, they might be busy, but they will help you.
Yeah, never shy to ask really to anyone, even about anything. Yeah. So Miss Anna, you wanna share something? Your greatest fear?
Okay. My greatest fear, I think, adding to what Padiv and Rajas has mentioned, not being good
Quality,
enough.
yeah.
Yeah,
Quality
quality.
yeah.
Because as an events and membership intern at that moment, I also had to do some communication work, like doing write ups, captions, invitation messages and things like that. But it's not for just random people. It's for like specific bosses of companies. So I feel like one of the biggest fears is that is this good enough? And honestly speaking, when I think the first 2 months, because I did for only 3 months. So the first 2 months when I submit like my rata or anything, when I saw it being posted, it's always not the ones that I did. So I always had this like thinking of me that what I did is wrong. It's not good enough. They will never accept. But they keep asking me to do. And I think final month of my internship, I think that was like about 3 to 4 write-ups that when I saw it being posted, it's exactly like what I wrote. So at that moment, I feel like a sense of achievement and like satisfaction
You
that,
meet
oh
the
my,
expectations.
yeah, like finally. But okay lah. So I feel like the fear is that, and also because they require us to be really confident to talk to
Yeah.
external parties. Like I said, because I was very independent as an intern. So they said, okay, this is a number. He is this of a company. Call and ask for this and that. So I always have this thought, is this the right time to call? Will they talk to an intern? I don't think I should be. Can you do it? I will always ask my supervisor to do it, but she said no, you have to do it. So I feel
Yeah.
like those are the two things that I feared most. But yeah,
It looks like they are pushing you to do things, but it's actually not. They're actually
yeah,
giving you the
no, no,
opportunity and also to
yeah,
make you learn more actually.
yes, yes,
And at the
yeah,
end, yeah, you actually nailed it. See?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And just to add, I still have a fear that still carried until now. When you are young, you don't really know the importance of writing an email the proper way.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
What I did was my superior was writing, asking for an update from me, and that was I was really panic. I almost forgot that actually I am replying the email. I thought at the same time I was replying someone's SMS that time. Then the same thing carried habit when writing an email. So I write in a very short form. This then that.
Yeah. Hello,
What
noted,
happened?
receive.
Yeah, I short very
Very
short.
short,
Like
short one.
yeah,
Yeah.
WhatsApp, we have a short. Yeah, we have our own slang, right? I was writing that. Then I just after that I continue work. Then I got a reply. So uh, it's not a good practice to have this kind of write up when you're sending an email. So that was a
Yeah.
greatest mistake and also lesson for me. So even until now, if I'm sending an email to students, right, I'll need to check 2 to 3 times
Yeah.
because
Reread
it's
it.
black and white. So students need to be very careful when you're sending because it's not about the habit will continue. If let's say, for example, Samia, right, Samia, handling with the clients, right? So you accidentally writing something. So it's not only reflecting your capability, but also the company's capability. So you need to be very extra careful on this. Yeah, at the end, it will be reflected on your evaluation. So you'll be very careful. Okay.
That's so true, Mr. Sugin. To make sure, learn how to write your corporate email. And here, Madam
Yeah.
Amalina also said the same thing. Learn how to write a corporate email. That's what she
Yeah.
remember from her time as well. So
I think we
yes,
had the same experience.
all of us definitely. Some are very informal and like your friend or something email you,
Yeah.
but yeah, you're the one that also need to learn how to write a proper corporate email through, guys.
I
All
have
right.
one sudden question I want to ask. Maybe any of you. I think you're trying to be very close with your superior or colleagues, right? Maybe you're trying lah. Maybe Samia not. Samia, your colleagues are trying to be very close with you. Maybe.
Yeah, the biryani incident.
Yeah, biryani. We had a chat yesterday. She said always belanja biryani. Right. So we are not really gifted to have this kind of biryani.
Yeah.
Honest. Biryani dollars. Okay. If let's say you're trying to maintain the so-called gap, or but do you really talk to your superiors or colleagues when you are having any kind of problems? Does that happen anytime when during your internship that you feel like you are depressed, stressful working with this? Did you ever share this your colleagues or your superior, supervisor? Anyone? I think Samia, because but that's why she got biryani a lot.
Every
Yeah,
time.
Samia.
Okay, so what happened was I was struggling with like developing the API, and there were no senior software engineers here there in India. So the timing is really, I have to match their timing to get them. So it was a bit of a mess at first. So I was very, not just depressed, I think I was very scared because it's my internship and I don't want to mess things up. So yes, I have someone who sits beside me in the office. So I was like, I don't know, can you help me? Do you know how to do that? He was like, no, no, chill, you're just an intern. Don't worry, they will help you when they can. So yeah, that's what I went through. But yeah, it kind of helps.
How if the in that place is Padiv, not Samia? You think you will get biryani per day? No, okay. That actually they're quite helpful when it comes to.
I also want biryani.
Yeah, I'll blend you. I'll blend you.
Okay. Yeah. Next. Yeah, Amina.
So,
Interesting.
you guys want to share something interesting incidents maybe during your internship other than these biryani incidents?
Biryani. Biryani.
Anything that you want to share maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rajesh.
Yeah,
Rajesh
okay.
maybe.
Yeah, there's two parts to it. So, I think the backstory is that I'm working under. I mean, when I was interning, I was working under a director. So, I mean, directly under a director. So, he's busy. His time is occupied, right? Because he's busy with a lot of meetings, clients, projects, and etc. So he barely has time. And when he checks in with me, it's for work, right? It's for what's your progress? Can I check in with you? So it's always a very formal, serious thing. It's like, okay, no, this is wrong. I want it this way. I want it that way, which is acceptable because you're in a work setting. So it's always correcting. I want this. I want that. Stuff like that. So but I think one interesting incidents is that there's one day I think we were at the client's office and etc. And we had to go out for lunch, right? Typically when you work in project teams, you go out for lunch. This time, my project team was busy, so it was just me and my director going out for lunch. And I think for me, I think I would consider myself a very awkward person because I think I'm okay lah, okay, not super okay, but okay in communication. But when you're going out with your boss, who is like a director, like 40 plus, who's like really senior, very busy, and going out for lunch. So it's like the whole 1 hour and a half. Like I was thinking to myself, how much information is too much information, Like
Yeah.
how much should I ask him? Like, let's just say like, how are you? Or like, how's your family?
Yeah.
But why should I know about his family?
Should
this
I
is
be
obvious.
friendly or not?
Yeah, and then like, okay, I can ask him about work, but then our work normally like consulting your client and work is PNC. So if you're in a Grab or in a restaurant, you tend not to talk about it because you don't want people to hear, any information. So we can't talk about work. So what do you talk about? So that was super awkward, and that just made me think like, oh my god, this is so difficult because I want to maintain like a boss and a supervisor relationship. At the same time, I don't want him to think that I'm just a stuck-up intern who doesn't know how to communicate. At the same time, I don't know how much information is too much information. Like asking him, where do you live? Is that an appropriate question, or like should I just be quiet? So it was a very confusing experience, I would say.
Yeah, actually, very good point when Rajesh highlighted that when it comes to work-related matters, when you are talking outside, even Grab, you need to be very careful because some things will be very sensitive. Even you are talking in Mama restaurant, right? You are just expressing your frustration to your friends. You need to be very careful because maybe the same employee, the same company employee from another branch is sitting next to you, and you are somehow you're very attacked. You have to be very careful when it comes to these kind of things. Okay, so anyone want to go further on the funny incidents? Interesting, funny, not funny, interesting incidents. Anyone else? Anyone had the similar? No. Okay, we go with the next question. Okay. Okay, how was the 3 years of undergraduate studies shaped and helped you during internship? We go with Rajesh and then followed by Anna. 3 years.
Yeah, how has the 3 years shaped my internship experience, right? I think you have. I think I can break it down to like the education, like the technical education side, as well as the more soft skill, transferable skill side. So I think from the education perspective, right? whatever you learn in your degree and whatever you learn from your assignments, even though it might seem like, why am I studying psychology doing a video shooting assignment or doing a Adobe Illustrator assignment when I'm studying psychology? What's the necessity for that? Or why am I using Canva? I'm studying psychology. Why should I need all this? So I think when I was studying, obviously I had the same thoughts. I was like, why am I designing? I'm doing psychology. It's not necessary. But when you go to the workforce, you realize that a lot of this information or knowledge that you pick up it's very useful when you go into the work environment. Especially especially for those that are doing degrees that are specifically related to their working, like accounting, you're doing accounting degree or doing an accountant job, right? Then you definitely need your knowledge. But even for degrees that are like, someone who studies psychology and who's going to do to a different field, you still carry a lot of what you've learned in your 3 years, your group assignments, your work assignments, your projects, all of it there. And then I think the other part, the soft skill part, which really helped, I think, is when you take up extracurricular activities. Like I think for me, it was like even from I think me and Anna, because me and Anna we were in the same foundation batch, we did degree together, so it's like 4 years. I think we were very active since the foundation days, right? Doing even the organizing like the foundation trip here and there, or like doing like the badminton tournament, or like organizing things together. I think it teaches you. You might think that the basic cliche of teamwork, communication. We know that already. But it's always a different experience, and learning how to deal conflict, communicate with like senior supervisors, lecturers, VC, vice chancellor. So that the respect that you have when you communicate with someone of a higher thing. These kind of things you can carry. So when you go to the workspace, you don't like chimchai, or just talking is talking. You understand what's the difference in communication, in like formal communication, proper communication, as well as even like even in SC, right? We did projects where we like built websites, did terms and condition, wrote like TNCs for websites, or like proposals, letters, letterhead, formal letters. So like we do all this on a project. But then when you go to work, it's like compared to someone else who had the experience, you can bring so much more to the table.
Yeah.
And this helps a lot also in your interview when you can really share, what I can do. Like hire me because I can give you this. And
That's the
people normally say that I
advantages.
can. Yeah, and people normally say that I can give you A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I can do this. I can write letters. I can do this everything. But always having that experience as a backup, saying that I was in the student council, or I was in the accounting club, or I was in the football club
Yeah.
president or secretary. I have this experience, so I can guarantee you that I know what I'm doing. I can do it. So I think that university gives the opportunity to explore all these different platforms, different initiatives and activities. So I think like students should make use of it since you have it. Help you a lot when you start to the working. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
how about Anna?
Yeah, I think I totally, definitely agree with Rajesh, and she's covered all the things that I want to say as well. But because especially for me, because I studied accounting, but I did an entirely different internship, which is events. Um, yeah, it's just so different. So I wouldn't say that because like Rajesh mentioned, right? What you study, you can apply a bit here and there. But I think for me, it's not really relevant. It's just maybe there was a bit here and there, but like not entirely. But I feel like what really helped and shaped me is like what Rajesh mentioned, the extracurricular activities that we participated in. Yeah,
Organizing events and yeah.
yeah, because back in like undergraduate studies and foundation, I did so much. I mean, like even the first one that I was given the opportunity to was like Mr. Sugin gave his trust for me to MC an event, and I think like that was the start of me loving events. So yeah, and that's when I sparked the interest for event and project management. So I feel like as for me personally, I wouldn't say that like what I studied really shaped me into what I'm doing. Even now that I'm working, it's also not accounting based. I'm doing marketing, so like it's just super different. But yeah, I think it's the extracurricular activities, it's the exposure that you get, it's the people that you connected and meet, and yeah, things like that.
Actually, because Anna and myself having the same interest when it comes to, I think, same exposure when it comes to event management. Even
Event.
when I was studies degree, I did a lot of events. Especially, I learned from the basic, become an AJK, and then at the end of the final year, I did a national level video competition, and it was very tough. You go because first time you were doing, and then after 1 year of struggle, because we had a number of events, and everything comes in place, because that's what made you learn a lot. And also I will advise all the students to really 3 years journey is a student not only to learn, but you should enjoy as much as possible.
Yeah.
Enjoy is not hang out with the friends. Not is that. Try to involve in his extracurricular activities. Extracurricular activities is not about only experience. It's about developing your leadership skill that you have inside.
True.
Okay, so
Yeah.
wherever you go, this is what will make you become a better person. So try to involve it as much as possible. Try to volunteer. Try to give
Mm-mm.
some ideas. We want to, madam, we want to do these kind of things in a university. That's how you can really develop yourself. Okay.
Yeah, and don't be shy as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right,
next.
guys. I think I want to ask our hero here.
Meanwhile, if
What?
let's say before that,
Yeah.
sorry, if audience having any questions, you can drop your
Yeah.
questions here. We can read the questions to the
I think
speakers.
there's few questions here. We will write. We will read it later. Okay. All right. Maybe I can ask. Pardip, what was your perception about internship before joining internship, and what's the reality?
Before internship, it was like, yeah, I know I gotta do work, but at the same time, the money sounds nice.
Sounds nice. Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was like, man, I'm gonna just do work and I'm gonna get paid. Then I realized I was wrong.
I can
So,
feel you. Okay.
so basically, like, what our perceptions when it's like before we start, it's like, yeah, it's gonna be easy. How many weeks only? But actually, when you go and do an internship, you can feel the pain of working. But it's a good experience at the same time. It's like you're getting to learn a lot of things at short amount of time. So
Mm-mm.
it's also a good and a bad. But that's up to you. If you can balance your work life properly, I think it would be a smooth journey for you. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So the reality is sometimes hard, but you do need to make it balance.
yeah,
Yep.
you need to push through
You have
no
to.
matter
You
what.
have to. Because the real world are more than that, actually. This is just a few months of your internship. And it's, yeah, it sounds hard and whatnot. But when you're in the real world later, when you start to think about, yes, you think about money and whatnot, but it's actually secondary. The first thing is you want to give the best to your position, to your job, right? Okay, so maybe next, Samia or Anna want to share with us, explain about you before and you after the internship. Yes, you briefed to us just now a little brief on. Yes, you changed a lot, you learned a lot, but explain about, yes, you and after, before and after internship. What kind of changes that you're seeing in yourself? Hmm. Maybe Samia, you can start first.
Okay, so I think Mr. Sudim knows this really well. So I'm very
Mm.
impatient. Okay, I need to get things done on that day. I need to get it done. If I don't get it done, I'll start panicking. So I think that was me before. Like I won't even I won't even think twice to be like doing like I would be like I need to get it done. I don't care how I'm gonna get it done. I need to
Mm.
get it done. But I think after like during my internship and whatever is going through right now, I think I am very calm now, like a very calm of a person. I take things like okay, let's figure this out one by one. I think the patience level went up.
You know how to control yourself now.
I have to control myself now because I'm around people who are professionals, so I have to be like,
Yeah.
okay,
Mm-mm.
I can't be very reactive to things. I have to
True.
be very calm. I have to get things done, but in a proper
Yeah,
manner.
professional
Yeah, in a
way.
professional
Yeah.
way.
Okay, maybe and Anna wants to share as well your changes.
Um,
Maybe you're seeing in yourself.
to be really, really honest, I don't think there's any like major changes.
Yeah,
In terms of, I feel like experience-wise, definitely you gain more experience, gain more knowledge. Um,
communication much better.
yeah, you communicate better, you have better confidence level, and things like that. So I feel like for me, because my internship experience was not my first work experience, so I've had prior work experience. So I feel like there was not much changes. It's just that I feel like one thing that I realized that wow, I can do this is that during my internship period, June to September, I did my internship. I also was already working on my final project, my business project. I was also leading my very own youth-led organization, and I was in the final months of student council. So I had four major things that I was working on, and I managed to do everything at once.
Major leadership roles. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think that's one thing that if I look back, I would say that damn, I was so proud of myself. I could do all that at the same time. Yeah.
Like when it comes to realize that, oh, I didn't know that I can do all this at one
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
At that moment, you're just like, oh my god, so many things to do. But now that it's over, you're like, oh, I did all that, and like
Yeah.
I'm
And
still
it's give
alive.
you self-satisfaction for
Yes.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes you grow actually.
Definitely.
One thing
And
that
one of it,
I realized, students, during university and also after university. After university means after they join a company, right? Drastic change. I can see the way they dress up.
eh?
They improve a lot. They improve a lot, and also I'm not talking about makeup lah. I'm talking about how well they dress, how
Yeah.
professional they can dress. That's something because they see colleagues and then try to improve by themselves. That's a very good improvement.
Yeah, that's one of the most, I mean, it is one of the good, most important stuff as well, because when you well groom, then it's actually give you more confidence to do your
Yes,
work
true.
and whatnot, how to deal with people, how to deal with your superior, how to deal with the client even. So if you wear appropriately, nice groom, so yeah, you
Nice
will have
and
all this nice. Oh yeah, that's important as well. Okay,
okay.
so let's go to the last question, guys. I took a lot of your time, but yeah, it's very good sharing session with you guys, really. But I do have last one question, which is on the stress management. Maybe Rajesh could share with us, how do you deal with other colleagues, your HODs and your bosses? Do you deal with difficult people? How do you deal with maybe everyone in the company? Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I think for me last time, typically I'm a very conflict avoidant person. So like even when I was leading the student council, even before that in projects, right? If there's no reason to have a conflict, I'll go with that path. Find the path where you don't have to have a conflict, and like, everybody can live in peace and harmony. That's like the best way. I just know what I thought and what I used to do. But then I realized when you're working, it's not to say conflict, but there's you're always going to be on the receiving end of things because you're new, right? So other people's stress will always be reflected on you always get like how to say tempias in Malay. I don't know what's the English word of it. Like you always get the people are stressed that fast paced environment and
Yeah.
once working you get
The
the
little
stress
dirt
over the
of
stress.
them. Yep. Mm-mm.
Yes. And also with the amount of workload you're getting and the time that you're working at, I think all of it piled up one over the other can be
The
really stressful.
vibes, even
And
vibe.
yeah, and it can take a real toll on your mental health if you don't address it at the beginning. If you don't realize that okay, this is what I'm stressed out about, or what I'm like feeling anxious about, or like stressed about, and address it at the beginning. So I think for me at the beginning, when I was working, there was like I said, like multiple reasons of me being stressed out over work and over the timing and over feeling. And the main reason I think was feeling that like what is this working world? What is this working lifestyle? Like I cannot do this. It's so weird. Not to say it's so weird. It's so stressful. Like I have to wake up every morning.
Challenging.
Like
Yeah.
I cannot adapt to it. Yeah, I think the first few weeks it's really difficult to adapt because having all the time in the world as a student, and this was my first proper work experience, like waking up at 9 every day and stuff like that. So it was very difficult to adapt. I think, but also the plus of it is being a psychology student, you can sort of understand why you're feeling a certain way. I think there's a benefit of psychology degree, right? You go to work, you see everyone
You know
stressed, you know
how
already. Yeah.
psycho people can be.
No, you go to work, you see everyone stressed, you already know, okay, this person's acting this way because they're stressed. Like, this wasn't acting this way because there's something. So you don't like straight away join the stress, So I think number one, how I helped. The first week I was struggling, I was crying and etc. Like stressed lah. But I think what helped after that is if you're working, you have to. I think it's so important to set time aside for yourself. Like you have to, like, even for me, if I work really late, like 2 a.m., I don't straight away go to bed. Like I keep 1 hour for myself, because I feel like at the end of the day you need to, like, how to say, have some headspace for yourself. Like I found that very like helpful. Yeah, not to say like meditate or reflect or stuff like that, but just to like process the
Relax.
day and to have your me time. Yeah, to have your me time to, either like talk to your friends or scroll through Instagram for a while, or watch Netflix for a bit. Like have that time for yourself. I think that helps you to like start the next day like fresh a little, as compared to just like sleeping, carrying the stress with you, then waking the next morning and like cycle again and again. And I think also I found out that having people to talk to helps a lot. So like when I started going out on the weekends, like going out for lunch with like Anna and my friends and my other friends, and then going out with my primary school friends, and like meeting up with my social groups, meeting up with people, talking to them, and sharing experiences with your friends who also are experiencing similar stress and work life issues and stuff. You feel the sense of, okay, it's not just me, everyone's going through it, and like it's part of life. Yeah, so I think those were two things that kind of helped me get through it. And like I think once you have that experience, then in the future, like your working life, like the proper working life, also you're more ready. You're like, okay, this is how it's going to be, so I have to understand and adapt accordingly.
Yeah, it's good to have a me time, or optional is a biryani time. You can choose which one you want.
We really need to have the biryani session though.
Anyone
Yeah, true.
else
So
about
your
the stress
work
management?
balance.
Yeah.
Anyone want to share? Anyone else? Maybe you want to share? How do you deal with the stress during work? Maybe.
I think maybe I can share a bit lah. I mean, if you are stressed, just stop whatever you are doing on that moment and just take some time for yourself. Never overwork yourself. That's the most important thing. The more you overwork yourself, the more pressure it builds up here. So always take time for yourself. Care for yourself first. Yeah.
Normally, if I'm feeling stressed, right, I'll go for window shopping. That's my therapy.
I mean, if you got no money for window shopping, just make tea.
Don't get stressed, just watch. Just
Make tea. Or like maybe for 5 minutes watch something on YouTube just to release that pressure.
Yeah, sometimes even now I started cooking, right?
Yeah.
It's a big stress reliever for me.
Yeah. Cooking is one of the good therapy, really.
Yeah.
For Samia it's biryani, but for others
Yeah,
might be different.
Okay. Never mind, Padiv. I'll send a by Grab biryani. Whenever you're stressed, just let me know. I'll send a by Grab. Okay. And since due to time constraint, I think I want to merge this Express Podium and Q&A session together. So whoever interested to be on the stage from the audience, you want to share your internship experience, or you want to talk with the speakers here, you can see on your right, there's a raised hand button, right? You can click that, then I can go and pick you, bring you on the stage. Anyone? Anyone? You can raise the hand on your right. You can see. No one. All shy already. All stressed because they are going to face internship.
I think they have questions here in the live chat box.
Oh yeah. I think Ayman is asking question. What is one advice you will give to an undergraduate student related to internship or getting a job? Who want to answer this? Ayman is a computer science student. Maybe Rajesh and Padiv or Samia. Anyone can.
I mean,
only one advice, huh?
My one advice will be, I mean, my one advice will be that search what you're interested in. That's the most important thing. First thing is like, because if you are computer science students, there are a lot of fields, testing, development. There's a lot of fields. So find a field that you are the most good at, or like your skill set, whichever skill set you are good at, and find those related jobs, because that will like improve. There will be a quality for you as well as the company who you are applying for. So I think that's the main thing.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, you will be
You don't
more
know what.
full-hearted when you get a company that you want. I mean, the field that you
Yeah,
want. Mm-mm.
because when you do something passionately, you can deliver more compared to something that you are
Yeah.
being forced. Okay, okay. Any other questions you have from the audience? Anyone want to be on the stage? No one.
They are shy. I think there's one more question here. Here, sorry.
Yeah.
Based on your experience, for how long duration you were suggesting doing an internship? What do you guys think? Yeah, how
I
long?
think all of
How
you have
long is
done
the
like
duration?
3 months, some of you 4 months, right? It depends on the
Yeah.
program, but what do you think is the right amount of time for
Mm.
having an intern?
Should it be 1 year or 1 month or what do you guys
One
think?
year, I think I will stop.
1 year. I think going with the internship requirements to graduate, I think our university says 12 weeks, right? If I'm not wrong, psychology says 12 weeks or 480 hours. So it's like, I think the basic requirements should be met. So like 3 months. And I see like some students like to do 6 months. I don't know why.
Mm.
Because I feel that, I mean, it's okay. I mean, some people say it's better to have an internship rather than being like unemployed, right? Which is correct, like, if you still want to look for jobs, then you can like the same 3 months gain some side income while searching for a job. Maybe that's possible, but also it's like I would feel that sometimes it's like in a way you're underpaid because you're getting like they're getting extra labor from you at intern salary, right? So what you can do normally is after internship try and ask them after 3 months if they're willing, if they would like to employ you full time on a contract for the next
Yeah.
6 months, something like that. So at least then your pay is raised as compared to an intern salary, I would say. But I think the ideal period is 3 months lah. I mean, I would feel an ideal period is 3 months. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's a very good suggestion because if let's say the company your requirement is 3 months or 4 months, and the company still want to offer like 6 months, you need to be very careful because the another 2 months is actually so-called they are saving something. Okay, so on your side, what you can do, you need to be very clever. You can say that my requirement is just 4 months, but after 4 months, maybe you can hire me. So you can,
Mm.
from let's
Yeah.
say your allowance is just 400, once you get employed your salary will be more than 2000, so you don't waste
Mm.
the 2 months time. So don't feel like, oh, you can explore, you can learn more in the internship when you extend the time. No such thing.
Yeah.
when they're seeing, because I am from industry, when they're seeing internship student, they saying, okay, I got
They want
someone,
more.
some helpers, some helpers. Okay,
Mm-mm.
you need to be very careful. So before you are applying for any job, try to look at their requirement. What are they looking at? What you are going to deliver?
Yeah.
If you are okay with that job scope, try to apply.
Yeah. Also, if I can suggest another thing, is like if you are confident that you want 6 months of internship because maybe you think internship's a bit lighter than real job, or you want 6 months to search for jobs and etc. Then I don't know, this is a personal preference, but I would suggest to break it to 3 months, 3 months. So the next 3 months you look for a different job scope or a different company or a different because I mean that's technically what I'm doing now. So I just finished EY, right, consulting 3 months. So for me I feel like I still want to explore a possibility of something else before I apply for a final, like a real job. So, like, I did consulting in a professional services firm. So, the next 3 months, I'll be doing it at the FMCG industry. So, I'll be at Unilever the next 3 months. So, it's also an internship. But instead of doing it 6 months at one place, I break it to two.
So
So, I kind of
please.
like can compare and see working hours wise, working culture wise, which industry am I more, which one do I prefer? Yeah. So, if you're really going for 6 months, I would suggest to try two places or try two different experiences.
Okay. This was a very quite interesting session. Before we conclude our session today, we want to make a very important launching today, which is Byte CV. This was a years of idea. Uh, the idea is about we want to create a platform for the students to be recognized. We want to show what kind of skill that our student have, and this can be utilized to help the student to promote their skills, not only to get internship or job, but also for to do freelance. So I think if you watch this video, you will understand better. So I'm proud, and I think I'm proud to launch this initiative, and all my students here, all the speakers, I've been taught them from the foundation level. So I'm being proud to launch. So let us watch the video first, then we will conclude. After the conclusion, we'll be having networking session. So you can see in the launch area, after we end the session, you can find the launch area. You can go and meet the speakers directly, and then if you have any question, you want to blanja biryani to Samia and talk Samia, or maybe you want to sponsor biryani to Padiv, also you can talk to them. Okay, maybe you can ask some advice about, if let's say you want to get an internship in the same company, you can talk to them. Okay, that will be research after we conclude. So before that, let us launch a Byte CV initiative. Okay, that's about the. So we'll be having a further soon through our Instagram. We don't want to explain everything in today because there will be no suspense at all. So let us the thing. Then we will be having more session on how to have this project on. We'll be posting in the Instagram, and then you can. This initiative is open to all IMW students. For other university students, we are really thinking about that yet. Let us start with the university students, and we see how it goes. Okay, so, I pass to Amina maybe to conclude this event. Amina, I think Amina freezed. I think lost connection. Okay, maybe just to summarize the overall things. I for this I think they have a question. Okay, I have this a quick question. Maybe I just summarize the question. Maybe anyone from you can answer. There are 5 questions. First is, what will be your advice to upcoming intern students? How to make the best out of 3 years in the university? Third will be, search the internship. How to search the internship? And what are the things required for an interview? And do's and don'ts during an internship. Maybe you guys can conclude. Who want to start first?
I think I would like to share about like how to really fulfill your 3 years of undergraduate, and like how to find, if I'm not mistaken, it's how to secure an internship placement. I think one thing that I really advise like anyone who comes up to me, or like even my sisters, my siblings, I would say that to build your portfolio, to build your profile, and that is by participating and being out there. I have encountered so many students who is a little too comfortable with what they are doing. So, oh, I just go to uni to study, and that's it. Especially during like the physical days, right? It's just that they go to class and they go back. And that was me, honestly, during the first few months of foundation, until I fell in love with events, and then I started joining literally every single event IMW ever organized. But yeah, it's building your portfolio, connect with people, not just socialize, it's connecting, networking with them. I think that would really help you a lot in finding an internship placement or even a job placement. So yeah, I think that's one thing that I think everyone should do.
Okay, others?
Yeah, I'll go next.
Yeah.
I'll just briefly summarize from whatever questions Mr. Sigin you mentioned. I'll just briefly summarize it. So I think Anna mentioned a really good point about the university involvement, right? And some of you, I understand that now it's virtual, and you feel that maybe IW is not as active, or there isn't many events, or you cannot be uni. you don't have to necessarily do uni events also, because like I think if you go online, a lot of NGOs and like student organizations that are doing a lot of things. I think IWELT, ICMS, to name a few. There's also a lot of other companies that are doing a lot of youth programs, Axiata, they got a youth program, or like just go online, search for all these things and be a part of it. So I think big names also will help in your CV, right? If you want, to push up your CV. So I think when you apply for an internship, getting through the first phase of them, getting a resume through the first phase is like the first part of it. The next will be your interview. So I think, like I mentioned, looking up about the company, the role, and why you want the company and that role. Like what can you offer to them? Those three parts for the interview. And then when it comes to the internship part, I think it's being confident in what you have to offer, at the same time not being afraid to ask questions. I think there's two things in terms of when you're working, right? So be confident in what you're doing, as well as you have questions you can ask, and always seek for guidance if you need. But also don't let work consume you. So like how Padiv mentioned about doing things that you're passionate about and what you really like to do. Because like for me also, like, I think I had the same thought. Internship is it's a like doing like university, but you get paid. It's the same amount of stress. But no, it's way worse because you're employed and you owe your work to your boss. So if you do it wrong, you can get fired. That kind of things. So it's important to not be too stressed out. Do things that you're passionate about or that you're interested in. At the same time, if you're stressed, seek for support. Have time for yourself. Seek for external support. And also, if you need to, I think a lot of seniors are very willing to share. So you can always reach out to any of us or any other seniors in your respective fields through their Instagram, LinkedIn, or through student council or something for to talk to and discuss. Because I think something that students feel that, oh, you're alone in this stress, but actually you're not alone. A lot of people going through it. So if people talk about it more, then you will feel less alone. You feel like, oh, this is normal. It's a phase of life. It's internship, then work, and etc. Yeah. So. Yeah, that's all from me. All the best to everyone who's applying and all the best in internships.
Yeah, very good summary. Yes. Next.
Can
Samia. Yeah.
So I think Rajesh and I touched on everything I wanted to say, but I would like to add one thing during the interview session. So when you ask questions, I know during my interview I was asked do you know how to do this programming, or do you know how to work with APIs? I think you should be absolutely very honest to them that if you don't know something, don't say oh yeah, I know this. Don't say that, because when you go to start the job, you'll be in trouble. Be very honest. People are willing to help you if you're honest. That's one thing I would like to add.
Yeah. Our hero here. Padi.
I think everybody covered it pretty well. I think I don't have much to say other than just don't. How to say this? I mean, when you go for an internship, just don't go in blindly. Be prepared. Always be prepared, because the outside world is not so forgiving like how universities are. If you do something wrong, that's it. You might not know when you're gonna get the second chance. So whichever company you get or whatever job you are doing currently, just do it with passion. Do what you love.
Yes, Pardip. Okay, we come to the end of the session. So it was very nice and also very fruitful. We really, really appreciate and we are very happy to see all our students again as a speaker now. No more students. It's like a great so-called what to say, a platform to see we are no longer student lecturer. We are more like friends sharing experience. So I do hope the students, IMW students or any other students from other universities, if you like to have any help or suggestions, try to reach your seniors. That's why I always like to have this junior senior term in campus. Even until now, when I meet my seniors, I know their name, but I'll be calling them as a senior. It's to show some respect. At the same time, there's a unique relationship. You cannot find anywhere else. That's a time that university life will give you. Try to, those students still in university, try to call your seniors seniors. So it will make the relation quite close. I mean, in term as a student. So if you guys have any question, you want to reach the speakers here, you can talk to them in the networking session. After we end the session, you will be brought to the launch area. You can directly, there's a few tables arranged with like Samia, Padiv, Anna and also Rajesh. You can talk to them. And I'm really appreciate and thankful. Apart from you're very busy with your internship, you're still spending time with us to share your experience to your juniors. I'm very excited and also very happy for that. And thanks Samia, Padiv, Rajesh, and Anna. Hope to see you guys more in future events. And I pass to Amina. Maybe Amina can conclude the session.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for your time and all. And we also want to thank our attendees today. They attend this event for today. We're really happy that all are good, and we gain so much sharing session from our speakers, and we are thankful to have them for today. So with that, I think, yeah. So Mr. Sugin and I would thank all of you, and I think we will see you guys on the next event, perhaps. Yeah. So can we have a quick photo session? Then we can end the session. Mr. Sugin, maybe?
Yeah.
Just a
Only
quick one.
all of us will be. Yeah, we have a photographer been hired. I think Asia is taking photo. Anyway, I'll take a few snap. Okay, say cheese or say biryani. Say
Berani.
biryani. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Sugin, and thank you all the speakers and all the attendees as well. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. Stay safe. Make sure to stay home, and see you guys soon. Bye.
Okay, please join the launch area for networking
Yeah.
session. And thanks a lot, and see you guys again. Thanks, all the speakers.
Stay safe, guys.